What is up, playa? How is everyone? I am sprightly. I went on a walk in the woods today. I got a couple of really cool pictures. And then I've just been sort of, I don't know, having one of my catatonic reset days where I have not been in a hurry. I've just given myself time to be like void of everything, even thought. I've just been just a flake, an ethereal wisp blowing through the day. I'm pretty excited after our reading here. I have my favorite. I decided to give myself Valentine's today since I had to work yesterday. So I went out on a hunt and I got a bunch of really good chocolates. And then I got those chocolate covered almonds too, my two favorite flavors, and some wine. And then I couldn't find what I wanted at the store to make, so I decided to go to my favorite Italian deli and get my favorite pasta takeout. So I got my favorite order there. And then while I was waiting on that, I decided to pop into Publix and see what they had to offer in their ice cream department. And they had my favorite flavor of Jenny's ice cream. And they also had my favorite flavor, which I thought was a seasonal flavor of ice cream that Publix makes, which is Christmas coffee it's like Christmas coffee espresso and chocolate chip. It's amazing. But anyway, so I'm very excited to have that decadent free-for-all after this, and I will probably watch Outlander because it's wonderful. But let's begin. So y'all, there was quite a few cards that kind of came out from the Vintage Wisdom Oracle deck, but then they all had very like specific and like really matching cards that came out of the tarot deck too. So it's all well in order. It's all meant to be. The story was very uniform. So we've got Enchantment, followed by Balance, followed by Beauty, followed by Awakening. And then underneath Enchantment, we had the Knight of Cups. Under Balance, we have the Star. Under Beauty, we have the female representation of the Emperor in this deck. And the Emperor, okay, so this deck, just a caveat really fast, the Whimsical Moments tarot deck, the woman who wrote it figured that for the most part, the people who read her deck were going to be coming at it from the perspective of the female. So because of that, she included feminine versions of a lot of the key male figures. But I think it's interesting because we're all both energies. And so I almost wish that she had done the masculine and feminine version of every face card. But I do like the addition of the feminine angle of the masculine characters, as well as the inclusion of the classic masculine representations. But so sometimes I will read that, like I always read everything first as it's applying to us, but sometimes when the masculine and the feminine versions of the cards show up in these readings, I sometimes figure that it is an actual representation of like different characters. Like if you are the feminine or the more leaning feminine emperor, then if the masculine version of the emperor shows up in your read, like I might consider that to signal a male character, which I don't always. I play it by ear according to the intuition. And so we've got the feminine emperor under Beauty. And we have the masculine emperor under Awakening, which I think is all very interesting. So, Enchantment, Balance, Beauty, awakening. I think that this is speaking to this experience that we're having right now, where we are seeing a lot of what has been coming up from our subconscious. We're witnessing what have been default, like reactive trigger responses to life. So we're starting to be more aware of our patterns. And, you know, when we're triggered or when we want to respond, it's like, what is our default setting? Like, we're starting to like become more aware of those things. And because we've been observing them, we've started to bring them more into balance. And we're starting to see that even the difficulties that we've come through, there's beauty and poetry and perfection in it all, because it all has been presented to serve our unfolding. So, and then this, seeing that and embracing the beauty of it all instead of fighting against it, has allowed the space for spiritual awakening and expansion to come. So we've been balancing the opposing forces within, right? And we've been bringing them into balance because, you know, these governing forces within us, when they're out of balance, when the pendulum swings too far, you know, back and forth to overcorrect itself, that's being in vice rather than virtue. And so in order to get those qualities back in those governing forces back into a virtuous state, they need to be brought into balance. In the tree of life, there are 3 columns to reality. There's the right column, which is the column of mercy. It's the positively charged column associated with the masculine. And then there's the left column energy, which is the negatively charged, like energetic column associated with passive or feminine energy. And then there's the central column, which is the grounding influence, the balance, right? The way that these 2 different currents can come together in a unified and grounded, safe way. Okay. So we've been bringing the elements of the masculine and the feminine within ourselves into balance, right? We've been able to soften into our compassion. We've been able to open our hearts back up to joyful, childlike innocence and kind of almost like a wiser naivete that's open and still vulnerable and willing to embrace life, right? The Knight of Cups. You know, we had that message earlier in the week. It was all about lightening up, right? And so we're back again. It's like we're trying to see through, you know, a lot of the noise of what was left behind when enchantment would become entrapment for us, right? So now it's like we're learning how to embrace being enchanted by things without suffering illusion, right? Or becoming ensnared or entrapped by that entrapment or in that enchantment. Think of enchantment sort of like as alcohol. That's the image that came to me. And a little bit of alcohol can help you relax. It can open you up to celebration, right? It can melt the ice and break down barriers and walls, bring people together in unity. Too much alcohol can cause you to perceive things that aren't there. It can mess with your judgment, your balance, your mood. You know, people can be feistier, right, when their enchantment is leading them down into the shadows. So just be advised that we are awakening this enchantment. And so we're able to go with it and get excited and see where it's leading without being blinded by our projections. And so what we need to do is stay present in the moment. Enchantment can be intoxicating. It can be liberating. It can be uplifting, but it can also be toxic. And so we have a tendency to be preoccupied with the future and the past at the same time. And so it robs us of our fulfillment in the present and our satisfaction and contentment. And so what ends up happening is that we come to this opportunity, whether it be, you know, to do with our goals and our purpose, or whether it be with new friends, or whether it be with new suitors or lovers or what have you, we become like enchanted. Oh, wow, so sparkly. And we start projecting our visions, our desires, our expectations, our hopes for the future, right? We start projecting potential onto something. And then because we know we can't trust that projection, but it's subconscious, like we're not aware consciously that we're projecting on it, there's this distrust that immediately leads to us saying, oh, it can't be. And so the pendulum swings the other way, and it's like we become wary and we become suspicious and we become, you know, disenchanted. As a defense mechanism. And we're worried, you know, maybe we start worrying about the future. Like, how is this going to play out? Or maybe we're just obsessing over the past. And so we can't move forward and have a fresh start because, oh, all those times in the past that I was enchanted, I got myself in a trap, right? I was caught and tricked or whatever. So we have to break free from being attached to anything in the future or the past. Our power is in the present. And being able to be real and present with that and observe without judgment, but with honesty, with open heart, with compassion, and try not to put our agenda in the mix. So we're having a more balanced perspective of the things that are being presented to us in life. And so, you know, we may be getting opportunities coming in or offers that are likely to cause us a lot of excitement, right? And, you know, some hopes. It might stir our hopes, right? Our enchantment. And these are opportunities that could sweep us off our feet and bring us a lot of joy and excitement. You know, a lot of romance, a lot of theater. You don't have to necessarily be in a romantic relationship in a sexual sense for romance, right? I mean, like watch Anne of Green Gables, or Anne with an E, right? She's very romantical. She loves getting into like adventures in the forest and scaring herself and, you know, being cozy and like romanticizing everything, right? And so it doesn't have to be directed at people. So let yourself be romanticized by life again without being deluded by illusions of projection. Be more realistic about it, but also let your heart be full, right? This is what's inspiring. This is what opens us up when we can see all the beauty of life, of how everything's playing out, right? That's when our heart opens to compassion and empathy and forgiveness without enmeshment, without having to be, we can have healthy boundaries and feel compassion and be open to receiving people and be more understanding of others. But when we don't have good boundaries and we're enmeshed, then that's usually when we have defense mechanisms set up and walls guarding around us because we don't understand and we don't want to give and we don't feel safe to. So we want to start opening our hearts to the beauty of appreciating even the difficulties that have happened to us, because that experience has served us in many ways and it's made us stronger and deeper and more understanding, right? It's been able to shape us and be a catalyst to our awakening, our spiritual awakening, our expansion, our transformation, to become kinder, right? It's lent itself to our healing. The star card is about healing, and it's about having a renewed sense of hope that things are actually working out, that your dreams, it's like the Make-A-Wish on a star. It's like your dreams are coming true. Things are going well. Things are getting better. You are like in good health and good spirits. And so it's because we've been able to bring ourselves into more balance from within, right? That's another part about the feminine emperor next to the masculine emperor. This healing first has happened on the feminine, right? Which is the interior representation of us. Whereas the masculine, one of the things that the masculine represents is the outer, external, material representation. So the healing and the balance has been reconciling what's going on in the inside, and then that being represented in our outer circumstances. So we're bringing that into balance. And at first, we have to bring inner peace, fulfillment, contentment, love, compassion on the inside, and a sense of abundance and a sense of sharing and a sense of openness to receive for, the good of all, for the good that it spills over, the sense of receiving wisdom to be a channel of light into the world so that it can change you for the better, not just so that you can get more and have more. So when you first transform on the inside, that is what allows for the change to occur on the outside. If you only go after things from a physical perspective, you might be able to build something that'll last for a little while, but it won't be sustainable. It'll crumble because what you did, it doesn't match you on, or it may or may not match you authentically or be true on your vibrational level. You may not have energetically, emotionally, and spiritually built the vessel, so to speak, to handle that experience. So if you haven't created that on a seed level from the inside, things are expressed from the inside out. So whatever it is on the outside that you've built, it's just like a facade. It's going to crumble. So start on the inside and let that transformation start showing itself organically on the outside. Because if you try to attack everything from the outside and the material and the literal, like hand to action, you can do what you can, but if the energy isn't right, if your mindset, if your heart, if your emotions, if your vibe, if your mood isn't in alignment with what you're trying to put your hand to externally, then it's not going to sustain. Because everything is flavored and made of what it is made of at a seed level. And the seed level is the energetic level. It's the consciousness that we're in when we set energy into motion through thought, through vision, through action, through word. Whatever we do, don't send the message when you're in a bad state. Don't say what you want to say when you're angry, right? Don't go sit down to have your writing session while you're aggravated about something. Get in a different space and then do something. Send out that resume when you're in like a high vibe, but your energy matters. That seed level matters. And so we're learning now how to be, and then we might, these energies that I'm talking about, these archetypes, they're coming into balance within each of us because we have both of these aspects within each of us. But also because that is what's going on the inside, we're going to see these archetypal energies represented in many ways coming from the outside, maybe in the media, maybe in the people around you, maybe in the people in your most intimate circles, right? Maybe your most intimate relationships are going to butt up against some of these edges. But what it's doing is it's serving each one of these energies to reconcile it and bring it into balance. Each energy has something to glean from the other or from being exposed to the differences of the other. And so one of the key things I think that is happening here is the softening to our intuitive guidance and that following that the truth of love versus following the stern truth of like practical legalistic logic, right? With the intuition, with the Holy Spirit, it doesn't have to add up. God is unlimited, right? But many times it's like the masculine mindset is overly materialistic, materially focused. So opening to that real sense and that real connection to spirit, to divine guidance, to miracles, to magic. Opening the heart to others, sharing, leading and being compelling from a sense of unity and cooperation and getting people involved because they have a sense of shared passion. They have shared esteem. There is respect and cooperation in the midst with the feminine leadership. And it's like you win more bees with honey. You woo people. You bring people together around joy and love and a sense of like innocent optimism and enthusiasm rather than by force, rather than by coercion, guilt, fear tactics, control tactics, tyranny, severity, manipulation, guilt trips, you know? So very good. I think that this is a positive week. I think that there's a lot of transformation happening on the deepest spiritual levels, on the soul levels, in the level of our mind and in our consciousness and in our emotions, within our relationships, within our place in our community and our villages at large, and then also like on a grand scale out in the world on a global level. This is all happening. It's all taking place. So it's really interesting. So sit back and watch the beauty unfold as you continue your awakening and you watch people start to wake up to their awakening. Hold on to your seats. Hold on to your hats. Buckle up. Put on a helmet. All right, I'm going to go have my wonderful self-date. Bye.